50 days transformed by prayer.
Hi boys and girls, once again I have a story for you. This is about two ladies, two words, and one glove. There was this lady who lived in a big city where there were a lot of homeless people who needed food and clothing, and they would come to a certain place to get a free meal every once in a while. Now the first lady, we'll call her Alice, she was well off and she had time to go and help make food for the poor. And she was standing in line one day, dipping out some soup to the homeless people who came to eat. And she noticed the second lady, we'll call her Elaine, standing over in the line waiting. This Elaine was quite thin, and she had on a thin coat and a hat over her head because it was cold, and one glove on her hand, like this. Now, little lady Alice looked at her and thought, I wonder why she only has one glove. Maybe she lost her other one, the poor lady. So as the people went through, Alice kept thinking about Elaine and what had happened to her. And when she got up to the front to get her plate of food, Alice said to her, "What happened? Did you lose your glove?" And she said, "You must be cold." And the lady Elaine said, "Oh no, I found this glove. It's wonderful. It keeps my hand warm. I can switch it from hand to hand and keep myself warm," she said. She wore it backwards sometimes. So she was very happy that she had one glove, because you see, before she didn't have any gloves. So this tells us a story about optimism and pessimism, the two words I wanted to tell you about. Elaine was optimistic. She was so happy she had one glove, whereas the other lady was kind of pessimistic, thinking, oh, the poor lady, she only has one glove. We can think about other things like that too. Like, for instance, you could be looking down when you're walking, seeing the trash along the street, saying, oh, this is terrible. Why don't they pick up the trash? Or you could be looking up in the sky and enjoying the beautiful sun and the clouds. That's being an optimist. So there's lots of ways we can think about things, and we can control our thoughts and decide whether having one glove is a good thing or a bad thing. We can look at life, all the situations in life this way. Maybe you're going through a bad time, but God is in control and He will make it right for you. He can turn bad things into good. So try to be an optimist and always look for the good in things.
To me, prayer is a means whereby we can get connected with heaven. It is a way that we can communicate with God anytime. The line is never busy. He will always listen to us. That's what prayer means to me. It brings me closer to God. Whenever I am discouraged, when I pray to God, then it gives me courage. When I'm grieved, when I have experience sorrows, then it gives me comfort. That's prayer, the meaning of prayer to me. I always believe that prayer works. If not because of prayer, I should not be here. The reason why I became a pastor was that when I was a small boy, I got sick. It was a very serious illness, and I heard my father praying by my side, and he promised to God that if I get healed, then I'll become a minister. So to me, prayer works. And a lot of times I have experience that prayer is very powerful. I mean, when I have issues, when I have struggles, I just get connected with God, and He will always listen and answer me.
50 days transformed by prayer.
Do you think most people are happy or unhappy? Well, Dennis Holy, author of Discovering Happiness, reports that according to expert opinions, less than 20% of Americans are happy. These experts would probably agree with the ironic definition of happiness offered by psychiatrist Thomas Szasz, who said happiness is an imaginary condition formerly attributed by the living to the dead, now usually attributed by adults to children and by children to adults. Are you happy? It seems that the world revolves around the pursuit of happiness. Maybe this is the reason that Christ, in his priestly prayer, prayed for complete joy for his followers. But now I come to you, and these things I speak in the world, that they may have my joy fulfilled in themselves. John 17:13. Among the petitions of Christ for his disciples in John 17, we arrive at the second intersection we wish to meditate on, the joy. Christ desires that his followers can experience his joy completely. The reality is that one of the marks of discipleship is this mood of happiness, not fleeing the fleeting joy of this world based on external circumstance, but the lasting happiness that comes from Christ. Joy is a misunderstood concept. People think it means to be carefree and smiling all the time. They confuse joy with pleasure or see joy as the absence of problems. The truth is that life is a mixture of joy and tears. Joy allows us to deal with the difficult moments with serene confidence in the divine purpose. We could not find joy avoiding pain. Christian joy is like a mother giving birth. The pain of labor results in joy. When I speak of joy, I'm not referring to the facade that people often put on masking their true feelings, but to an inner reality that transforms the way we react to life. One child was taken to a museum of natural history and was very disappointed with what she saw. She turned to her parents and said, "Let's go to the zoo where the animals are real." Joy is real. It's more than a smiling face, more than an emotion. It's a lifestyle. Joy is the result of a Christian view of life. True joy is unconditional, not dependent on our circumstances. Nothing can break true joy. The true measure of joy does not depend on how life is, but on how we are. Faith can transform our perception, allowing us to be happy over the good and bad times in our lives. Even living in difficult times as people of faith, we're able to overcome circumstance. It is this joy that Christ prays for his disciples to experience. That happiness can only be achieved through Jesus Christ. Through the peace he gives, he grants forgiveness, security that he assures us. This happiness is based on the promise that Jesus made, grounded in his sacrifice, in the realization that he provides. Do you crave that prayer which Christ made in favor of the happiness of his disciples to be real in your life? Are you tired of bitterness? Want to experience a new perspective? Pray that God will flood your being, providing joy to you and your family. As you search for the true joy in Christ through prayer, remember that prayer is the key in the hand of faith to unlock heaven's storehouses, where are treasured the boundless resources of omnipotence.